You should be. Everybody, welcome to this new edition, this new live event of the 19th hole. It is Tuesday, August 10th. It is an amazing day to drink some bourbon or whiskey. Talk about some golf. Even if the tournament coming up this week really isn't that great of a tournament, we still have DFS play. We still have Bo and Conor here to tell you what they think, because like you would listen to any golf advice I have, and you shouldn't if I ever give any. These two guys know what they're talking about. I'm just like Kyle Brandt on Good Morning Football. Basically, that's my equivalent on this show.
You are far superior to Kyle Brandt.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I would have
do
felt
not
really
insult yourself that hard. I mean, the show just started, man.
That's true. That's true.
We can rip on you here in a few. I mean, give it a minute.
Well, yeah. I figured I'd get it out of the way.
I got the fully loaded clip right here just to hit you with later. So you don't need to pull a Kyle Brandt off the bat, man.
Well, I mean, I feel like I upped you guys, hopefully, and now it's all null, and we're good to go. So how are you guys? Gentlemen? Bo, how are you doing tonight, buddy?
Man, I was just vibing out to that intro song, man. Every time I just get in the mood, that's some mood music. It's like baby making music, baby making. Yeah,
they should put up the video of us like grooving through it, because we're all doing the same thing the whole time that's playing.
That would ruin it.
It's funny, and I want to give a shout out to Nate, who does our intros, because when we did the show with Kyle, good Lord, I was just looking at Kyle Yates' spreadsheet for projections. When we did the show with Field Yates past Wednesday, it was funny because we put on our intro and you could see Field Yates kind of like rocking out to it, like, all right, this is. Nate kills it, man. Nate kills it. Not this Nate. I couldn't do that. The other Nate.
Definitely not this Nate.
Definitely not this Nate. Conor, my friend.
Yo.
How are you doing tonight, man?
I might still be recovering from my weekend, but we're getting there.
I mean, we're old. It takes longer to recover. We're no spring chickens, man.
Yeah, the bachelor party took a toll, and then I thought it was a good idea to get up at like 9 a.m. the next day and try and play 18 holes of golf in the 90-degree heat. So, yeah.
I mean,
stupid.
Idiot.
What are you doing? It's a rookie move, man.
Hey, man, I made it through.
I believe you. I've seen you make it through some tough situations after some heavy drinking in real life. I believe in you, man. I believe in you.
Yeah. First rule, don't delete a tweet. Second rule, don't cancel a tee time.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm with you. I played by myself, man. 3 people bailed. I still made it. So
Conor's the real deal, guys. Conor is the real deal right here. So tonight,
he's playing by himself, he shot his lowest round ever.
I did shoot that's what sucks, dude. I did shoot my best round of the summer, and I would just sit there going, no one's gonna believe this.
I shot at 32.
It never happened.
Probably better than Bryson DeChambeau did on the back nine on Sunday.
Yeah,
yeah. So tonight we are going to be talking, first of all, some whiskey. We're going to be talking about Rebel, which is become a staple in my household for the rye version. I know that Connor is drinking the non-rye version, and Bo is drinking whatever he wants to drink, because that's how we roll.
I couldn't find any Rebel. I really wanted some.
Yeah, instead you found Sazerac rye, which like we can't even get in this state. So I mean, it's a rough night.
Poor Bo. Poor Bo. And then the tournament we're talking about this week is Connor, enlighten us.
The Wyndham out at Sedgefield. So yeah,
don't sound too excited about it.
It's the hodgepodge prissy boys play. It's Sedgefield.
It doesn't sound like, like you've got to walk around with your nose up in the air at that one.
We go play the Wyndham at Sedgefield. It's a $3.5 million purse.
We're at Sedgefield.
I'm not even gonna try.
It's
Can't even do the
Sedgefield.
accent.
You got to get that pinky up, though. That's the key.
That's already required for whiskey drinking.
Even if you're straight off the bottle, I feel like you need that pinky for the bottle grip now.
Maybe if you have tiny little hands, but I got these mitts. I can do like 2 pinkies up. This.
But one up and everybody out there watching. Perfect. I love it.
I'm always that guy.
So let's get into the whiskey real quick here. I think that's a good idea. I'm very happy to report that Jen, who has never been into the whiskeys or the bourbons ever, is now very much into the ryes. So I'm now buying rye for 2, which I'm stoked about.
Woo!
We have quite the collection. This Rebel rye has become one of her most favorites. We bought every bottle the liquor store had the other day when we went in to get it, which was only 2. And at a price point of $23.99 for a top-end rye, in my opinion, that's a steal. It's an absolute steal. So, Connor, you are our spirits expert. Let's talk a little bit about the Rebel.
Yeah, so Rebel, what's kind of cool about Rebel is originally it was started way back in like 1849. It was called Rebel Yell back then. And it was actually started by William LaRue Weller, who a lot of people will know from trying to track down some world famous bourbons come tail end of the year. So originally the name of that company was W.L. Weller and Sons. And there's some really high end bourbons that are in that namesake now. About 1872, though, the Stitzel distillery kind of bottomed out. And so by 1910, they were really the main producer of Rebel Yell. And that kind of rolled around for a while. And then eventually down the road, they got bought out by Luxco, another part of the Lux Row distilleries, which some other notable ones in there would be like Ezra Brooks. Ezra Brooks, Blood Oath. Are 2 that a lot of people would be familiar with. So, and they've since dropped the Yell portion of it. And now it's just Rebel, and you've got they've got about 8 different bolt-ons, different styles of whiskey, some flavored, some higher proof, some rye. But yeah, the whole portfolio. The nice thing is that starting out at their base standard bourbon. I mean, I saw that one around town for about $15.99, $16.99. The 100 proof. Pretty easy to get it around $17, $18.99. And then, your rye was a little more expensive, but I mean, most of their stuff's going to top out below $25. And to your point, I mean, it's pretty tasty for what you're paying. I mean, it definitely can stand up with a lot of other stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. For the price point, the first time I got the rye, I was impressed. Couldn't believe the smoothness. There isn't a whole lot of back end bite to it, but it's still got that nice like spiciness, which I'm going to taste a little bit to remind myself here.
Sedgefield.
I
Sounds
love
like
that.
a dinner theater or something.
The Sedgefield. Totally. Oh.
We'll just take this on tour.
Yeah, we should. Oh, dude, we could sell out theaters. I'm telling you, man. We could do it.
So while Nate's digesting his rye, I'm drinking the 100 proof. The bourbons are going to be high in corn and wheat. They're going to have a little sweeter profile. You're going to sub in some of that rye into what Nate's drinking. You're going to get a lot more pepper and spice in his. My 100 proof, the nice thing is, again, with a lot of the higher proof stuff that we've had, getting a lot of that spiciness on the finish. And this one actually hits me kind of right at the base of my throat and kind of lingers there for a bit. So you definitely know you drank it. What's a little different with the Rebel that I'm drinking is that a lot of times I get a ton of caramel up front, which this one does have, obviously, but this one actually has like some of those banana flavors or like raisin type flavors that, a lot of times I associate with some certain types of beers, like Belgian beers, things like that. So it's got a little bit of that flavor to it. And it's got a really nice like honey type of mouthfeel to it. It's a little bit of viscosity to it. So it's, again, for $17.99. I mean, it's pretty killer. So
right.
I still call it Rebel Yell because it hasn't been that long since they changed the name. And I always think of like, oh, if you drink this, you're going to sing like Billy Idol,
right?
In the midnight hour. She cries.
I might be on my way.
Yeah.
Ma. 2 more of these and I'll be singing that song with you, Bo. So let's see if we can get there by the end of the show. I don't know how much Jen will love that, but
I sure hope so.
Gary, what's up, buddy? Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate anybody who tunes in and watches this show. We're here for the people, not just for us. I mean, a little bit just for us. Especially Gary. Especially Gary.
Special.
We are men of the people. Men of the people.
We favor Gary watching the show more than anybody else.
I think that's a fair statement, Bo. And I'm right there with you. I'll tweet about it later.
I mean, I'm forced to watch the show, so I mean.
Well, you're on it. So, yeah.
You don't have to watch it back.
Yes. But I do, sadly. I just watch myself.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's research. Hashtag research. Also, hashtag not a sponsor yet. Busch Light Apple. Just saying.
Come on, Busch.
It tastes like carbonated apple juice. It has a little bit of alcohol in it. Like, how can you go wrong?
It's the Martinellis you really don't want your kids to have on New Year's Eve.
Yes, that's it. You guys, if you're looking for like a different alternative for champagne on New Year's Eve, pop some Busch Light Apple. It's like Martinelli's with alcohol.
It's amazing. And it just goes down so damn easy.
Scott, we love you too, buddy. I promise.
Hope they're watching. We're gonna have a Busch Light sponsorship in no time.
Scott is so handsome that I don't think we can make him more special.
I know. I don't think so either. Like, he's so pretty, but like in a very awesome way.
He's gorgeous.
Gorgeous. You're gorgeous.
Never buys me flowers anymore.
It's because you need to take him to Sedgefield.
Sedgefield.
For a proper date, man. Come on.
But he always orders chicken strips, no matter what.
What's wrong with chicken strips?
He goes anywhere. You go to a Mexican restaurant, Italian restaurant, it doesn't matter. He's getting chicken strips every time.
With ranch.
With ranch.
With ranch, well, of course.
What else are you going to get with chicken strips? Honey mustard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'm getting both.
I'll take the ranch and the honey mustard. Please.
I want those fancy rosemary garlic fries too, man.
Ooh. Or some garlic fries? Yeah. Just straight garlic fries?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Guys, we have strayed.
Yes, we have. Bourbon. Should we talk some golf?
Sure, we can do some golf. Let's do some.
You want to talk golf? Do you want to talk about rye? Do you want to talk about what you're drinking at all? Did you talk about?
Oh, I did. So this is the Rebel Straight Rye. It is 90 proof, but it doesn't taste it. Is the interesting thing. It's got a smoothness to it on the back end. It's got a spiciness like right up front. If you're someone who ever chews your whiskey, which I like to do on my first couple of tastes of any type of whiskey or bourbon, you get a lot of spiciness on it, but then it fades like perfectly. It's like pepper to caramel to nothing. Yes. No, it's amazing. And seriously,
it's all warm and fuzzy, and it's 106 outside, so it's really
it's only 93 here.
But I don't know. It wasn't bad here today. I can't complain. I'm not even going to throw my hat in the ring. 80s.
It's pool weather. It's pool weather here.
Pool. Oh man, pool. I wish we had a pool.
Go buy a kiddie pool.
We have one. It requires a compressor to blow up. It's a whole thing. It kills your grass. It's not in ground.
West.
Canton West. Yeah. What is it? What better place to ask? Canton West. Who do you got coming out?
So far, just nimble Scott Simpson. But I mean, if anybody wants to drop by, I know on Saturday we're going to be hitting Blue Note Brewery in Woodland, California, which is going to be a happening place. They got 8 or 9 unique craft beers on tap that only they make. They're sold in local stores only, but it's so good. And they always have a couple food trucks lined up on the weekends right outside. So it's gonna be a good time. I'm
jealous. You get to hang out with Scott, man. That's awesome.
Hang out with me. That's. I mean,
that's true. I'm jealous of Scott. Scott gets to hang out with you. I'm so jealous.
Right.
I really am. I'm jealous of both of you.
Yeah, and Field Yates. I mean, he called me a legend, and he also still agreed to be on my show on Friday. So,
well, I mean, I think we all agree you are.
He muted himself when he said that. I love that.
You are. I didn't mean to. You are a legend, Bo. You're a legend.
He's like, oh, you really are.
I have my
you bleeped it out,
dude. This has been one of my favorite things going around.
Yep, insufferable.
As soon as he said it, we knew it. We all knew it. But here's the thing: he's not wrong. Why do I wear this hat? Because it's the best hot sauce I've ever had in my life. The big time bundle is coming. It's going to be here on Thursday, right before we leave for the expo. And when I get home, I am making some juicy ribs with that rub, man. I cannot wait. Cannot wait.
Use the hot box as a binder. I'm telling you right now.
Got it. Love it. And I will. All right, guys, let's get into some golf.
What do we think? The Wyndham.
So, Connor, it's the Wyndham. Bo, it's the Wyndham.
It's the Wyndham.
Let's talk about the course. What do you guys think of this course?
It's like the Catalina wine mixer. What do I think about this course? So it's a par 70. It's about 7,100 yards. It's entirely Bermuda grass. My opinion of it is it's a pretty damn easy course. You do have tree lined fairways, but they're traditionally pretty damn easy to hit. The greens are actually just about tour average in size, but they do have some pretty steep runoffs. So you're going to want people that are accurate on approach. Putting here tends to be one of the key things that if you putt well and you have good approach shots, this is a pretty straightforward course. The big thing is you have to score on it, though. The last 5 winners were all between 22 and 21 under, and most of them actually finished at 21. It's a fairly consistent result. You've got about 4. Let's see. You have 8 par 4s that are 400 to 450 yards, which aren't incredibly long. You've got at least 2 gettable par 5s, and most of these dudes are going to be coming in from 150 to 175 on their approach shot, which is a flick of a wedge for most of them.
Eagle country, baby.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think we're going to see birdies and bunches and probably quite a few eagles on the par 5s. So aside from the fact that it's kind of a weak field with a bunch of randos that, may pop, may not, it actually may be a pretty entertaining tournament to watch. A lot of scoring, I would think.
I hope so. I want to see some fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be super cool to really see some shootouts. Just see people really going head to head and dropping birdie left and right and going back and forth. That'd be sweet. So, I mean, I'm not ruling it out as being good TV, but we'll see. It typically isn't.
So, what stats were you looking at this week?
So I did actually kind of look at driving accuracy a little bit, even though I kind of alluded to the fact that it's not terribly difficult to hit them. The only reason that I looked at it, though, is because I think the second shot is going to be the critical shot this week. I want guys that are going to still be in position for that shot. I looked at birdies are better gained. I looked at approach. I did actually weigh putting this week, putting on Bermuda specifically. I looked at opportunities gained, which is a stat from Fantasy National that kind of tells you anytime somebody's putting or chipping from inside of 15 feet. So anytime you've got an opportunity to get a birdie, that's birdie or better. That's what that stat is. And then I obviously looked at the key approach range that we talked about. And then I looked at scoring on par fours from 400 to 450, given that there's 8 of them. I thought that was probably going to be relatively important. So that's the gist. Had some other stuff, but that's the gist.
So just before you get into your favorite guys for each tier, I want to say that I did take a glimpse at your charts, and I don't think we're going to match anybody. That's great. It's great. Apparently I was using different metrics in my brain for just value, and so when I looked at your chart, I was like, it's either going to be really good for one of us or really bad for the other. So.
Well, I saw your reaction to the 2 dudes I said to put on the teaser tweet, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a good show.
Yeah.
You guys, it's our first couple spat. It happens. It's fine. Let's get it out of the way. Let's get through it.
It hasn't even started yet. I'm about to trash all of his picks, and I hope he does the same to mine.
It's gonna be good, I think.
Well, so without further ado, let's get into our tier 1 9K and above.
Yeah, load up.
Oh, that's a good picture of Louis.
Dude,
as always,
how do you find all the pink? That's awesome.
So I would shout out to @3rd&short on Twitter, our homie Short. Great graphic, does all of our amazing graphics, just crushes it with the graphics. All right, so let's get into some picks, gentlemen.
Shall I?
Go for it.
So there's a few guys I like from this top tier. So our tier 1, we're always looking at guys that are 9K or above on DraftKings. One dude that I actually like this week and I don't typically like is Hideki Matsuyama. I like everything he's doing except putting. He's been stellar on approach. He's dropping a lot of birdies. He's hitting it close on his approach shots too. And he's in the top 12 in the field for all of the other metrics that we looked at, with the exception of putting. So, Hideki has moments where he gets some putting going, and I think he's going to be putting pretty close. I mean, I just think that he's going to drop some putts this week, and I'm kind of going on that narrative that he's going to hit solid approach and make some putts.
Not so fast, my friend. I only have one guy that I'm playing over 9K this week, and that's because I'm loading up on the next tier. So my one guy that I'm looking at over 9K is Brian Harman, the lefty. He is perfect for this kind of tournament. He's an accurate driver of the ball. He's an amazing approach player, and when he gets the putter going, he's literally unstoppable at making birdies. So he's not the longest hitter on tour, but you absolutely don't have to be on a course this short. 7,100 yards for the PGA Tour is like playing a little par 3 course for us. It's like nothing out there for them. I mean, I played a 7,400 yard course, and I felt like I was going to die of heat stroke, and it wasn't even hot outside. And these guys playing 7,100 yards, it's like a walk in the park. And so Brian Harman's length disadvantage doesn't come into play at this course. And so he's the kind of guy I want to spend up for. And at 9,900, I think it's an extreme value because some of these guys are priced higher, and I don't think that they have the potential to go that low, because you're going to have to shoot 4 rounds in the mid 60s to win this thing.
Yeah, and dude, I looked at Brian Harman quite a bit, especially trending over the last 10 rounds. Like, I mean, he's been putting phenomenally. He's had a pretty average approach game, but everything else he's gaining a ton of strokes. But it's what's the only thing that scares me about Harman is when you start going back, his approach game is not always lights out, and I think that's critical this week. But if he just stays middling the way he's been, I'm with you. Like, the guy can get nuclear with the putter, and could be
He's
low.
What the kids call hot. When the kids call you hot, they're hot. He's hot. Is
he lit?
Well. I don't know. Lit could be bad too. I'm too old to know. Yeah.
Bo, we're older than you.
I'm definitely not young though. Jeez.
Hey, speak for yourselves, man. I feel great.
Me too.
I feel amazing. I just don't know if lit's good or bad. So I'm going to say that Brian Harman is hot, and I like playing hot golfers on DFS.
Hot in the streets. You heard it here.
There you go.
I'll rattle off my next couple because I'm not super convicted on them, but I do like Louis again. I just think Louis skipped the Olympics. He's hyper focused on running out a good final run here with the FedEx Cup and everything. The stats are lining up. The only thing he hasn't been doing great is driving, and I think that's negated at this course. I mean, I just think he's going to be able to. He's just going to keep doing what he's doing. He'll compete. Zalatoris, I'm all over him again this week. Approach game is stellar. He's number 2 in this field for the key par 4 ranges.
You found the Zalatoris. I'm so proud.
Yes, I did. Yeah. Thankfully, a friend of mine had a map.
It's going to be essential when you get married soon.
I was just about to say, yeah. 2-week countdown, man. She's going to be pumped that I got that map.
Yeah. Will Zalatoris. Yeah, you got to find Will Zalatoris in the rankings. I mean, my only complaint with Louis is his price. He's priced up high enough where people are the average player is going to be zoned in because it's a recognizable name, and he's not priced over 11K, so they're not going to be like, oh, I can't get Louis and then somebody else. So I think ownership percentage on Louis is going to be through the roof,
which it is
at the top of the whole spectrum here. Like you said, there's a bunch of guys that a lot of people haven't heard of unless they're like us and they nerd out on golf. There's not very many of us. But we're talking about a guy who's a recognizable name, just came off a pretty good performance in a major. And so we're looking at a guy that is going to be very popular. And so for being at the very top of the price scale, I'd like to save some money and avoid that player. Because I don't know, he might win, but I think he's either going to win or he's going to be outside the top 10 and not making money.
Above 10K, though, I mean, if you had to pick a guy to win this, above 10.
I mean, jeez.
I would have said Reed, but Reed withdrew, so.
Yeah, probably Zalatoris. I don't like any of the guys really, other than, I mean, Hideki's okay, but it's like I looked at the top of that price structure and I was like, I guess I'm going with a bunch of mid-tier guys because I mean I'm not so emphatically pro any of these guys over 10K that I had to spend up on them, and so that was my reasoning behind it.
No, I can appreciate that. I mean, that middle tier, the middle tier.
My most expensive guy is 99, so it's.
Well, no, so why don't we
mid-tier is solid, yeah.
Why don't we get into that mid-tier, our tier 2 guys, as we're already kind of talking about it? Might as well go there.
Is that Matt McConaughey?
Probably.
All right.
All right, so jumping into tier 2. So this is going to be everything 9K down to 7K. Bo, you want to kick it off?
Well, this is all the rest of my players, like all the rest of them.
Let's hear it.
I don't have anybody under 7K on my team, and I don't have anybody over 10K. So, like I said, I loaded up on the mid-tier because I'm looking at guys who have been solid in the past. They've been known to go on birdie runs on easier courses. That's kind of what I base this on, is guys that may or may not be popular, but more of like I know they're going to be in contention because they have the ability to go on those birdie streaks that you're going to need to stay at the top of this leaderboard. So below Harman at 99, I went down to Rickie Fowler at 86. Rickie's been struggling, but this is the kind of course that can kick a really good player like Rickie into gear, where he looks around him and doesn't see any intimidating people around him. Like there's no Brooks Koepka to stare you down. There's no big bombers out there that are going to make Rickie look like the sideshow. So Rickie might feel like he's an A-list celebrity again with this field and go out there and I mean, he's every bit capable of shooting a 63 and just piling it on from there. And so at 86, I'm thinking Rickie's a value because of his potential, especially when I'm not really playing cash games with golf. I'm playing for the tournaments. I'm looking for, okay, who's the guy that really hasn't been doing well enough to get a lot of attention, but could go very low in a hurry. And Rickie just stood out to me there. Go ahead, Connor. Eat me alive for Rickie Fowler.
I can't. I was going to talk about him later. I'm with you. I kind of like some of the stuff I'm starting to see out of him. And to your point, like it's even though he's been a complete struggle for months and months and months, like he is still a world-class golfer that on a course like this could show up and
so
just go
handsome.
off.
You can't fade handsome guys.
He is handsome. He is gorgeous. Like, oh, he's so pretty. I'm just so jealous.
He's still somehow outkicked his coverage, though. So, man.
Didn't most of us, though?
Yeah.
Didn't most of us?
But you wouldn't think that Rickie Fowler would be the guy that outkicked his coverage.
Dude, Tom Brady outkicked his coverage.
I know.
But Rickie Fowler outkicked his own coverage.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I like Rickie, man. I really can't poke a whole lot of. I mean, if there's anything to say, like he definitely is not doing spectacular with the driver. He's not. His last tournament, he was really flat on most approach stuff. And the only thing that I got concerned about at the 3M when I watched him was, typically Rickie's pretty good with around the green and short game stuff. And I mean, he actually lost more strokes on that than any other thing that he did in that tournament. So that's a little worrisome, but I think those are things he normally excels at. So he'll probably bounce back.
And he's due. I subscribe to the he's due. And I mean, if I'm looking down the list, I mean, I'm actually looking up in price, but I'm a little less convinced on this guy. But we've seen him at the top of leaderboards before. I think he did pop up as maybe a joke on your chart. You mentioned him earlier in the week. But Kevin Na, I mean, I really can't stand him as a person because he's just this weird, like kind of pompous. Like you look at his face and you look at how he talks and you're like, why is this guy of all people pompous about anything? But the guy's a great golfer and at 8,800, I'm not incredibly enthused about his price being that high. But again, this is another guy who has competed and beaten the best in the world not too long ago and struggling a little bit lately, but like you can very well see a course like Sedgefield, like kicking these these world-class golfers go to these courses to make money. Like these are those in-between tour stops where the purse is still really big and you can go out there and make some real bank because the field is really shallow with like top tier talent.
Yeah, well, and I mean, Kevin Na, he's only played here twice in recent history. He's got a T4 and a T10. I mean, obviously he's comfortable here. I mean, what do you say other than that? And I generally actually am a sucker. You can get me on Kevin Na without trying too hard because, again, when he's on point, like the guy makes every single putt. And he walks it in. I mean, that's that cocky swagger on every green. I mean, he's just – when he's on, he's locked in, loaded, and ready to roll. So I think I like the comfortability he has with this course. So I don't hate that call either.
You're supposed to hate my calls, Connor.
How
about yours?
I got a feeling you got a couple coming that I'm not going to be super pumped on. So the big one that I have in this range is Kevin Streelman. He's at 8,300, and no, just hear me out. Because I never play Kevin Streelman either. But
good Lord.
He mapped out number 2 in that model that I sent you. And like, I mean, if you look at the stats over the last 24 rounds, number 5 in approach, number 15 from the key approach range, number 15 in the par 4 scoring, number 17 in driving accuracy, number 6 in birdies or better, number 3 in opportunities. Like the guy is lights out according to this. I mean, you can't ignore it.
I mean, Kevin Streelman's a NorCal guy, so I can't hate him too much, but I hate how much he's burned me when I did put him in. But
I don't think he's going to burn you.
He's another guy that's due. So I'm happy to say that I did look at him and I saw, okay, it's been a long time since we've seen this, but Streelman has gone very low at some of these tournaments that are in between, like the John Deere. Like you see Kevin Streelman go really low at some of these in between tournaments without some of the top 100 golfers around him. So I'm not against Kevin Streelman in this format because tournament play, you're going to have to throw some oddballs with upside in there, and I guess that's as oddball with upside as it gets.
Well, and dude, honest God, last 10 rounds, the guy hasn't lost strokes in any major category. He's gained strokes in every single category. Last eight starts, he has no worse than a 20th. And that's 8,300.
Oh, I think you flipped me on one.
Oh, hey now.
I'm taking one out. I was 300 under. And I of course, the guy I was least sold on was 8,000.
Let's go then.
So I pulled him out and I plugged Streelman in. Now I'm right at the salary cap, and I have Streelman because I saw his name and I was like, he's the kind of guy I'm looking for. But I was like, ugh. Like he gave me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it. But
you can make checks payable to the name under my face on the screen there. That's no big deal.
It's his real name.
DFS.
Yeah, so that's actually, though, straight up, that's probably the guy that I'm most sold on in that range. I see the validity to what you're saying, but the other guys that I like in there, Kyle Stanley he's volatile. If we
matched one. You sunk my battleship.
Hell yes.
My battleship.
Everyone play Kyle Stanley.
Everyone. It's unanimous.
But I think you'd agree with me on Stanley. Like the scary things about him, he's a super volatile putter. He's almost dead last.
That price 7,000 flat
gives you a lot
money in the bank.
I'm with you, and that's, dude. I love the proximity. I love the approach. I love the driving. It's just he's got to find the putter a little bit, and I think he can. He's been known to.
And Bermuda is super. Like all you have to do with Bermuda is understand the grain. It's like, which way does the water flow?
Exactly.
Okay, give it a little bit more room on that side. That's it. That's Bermuda. That's in a nutshell. Putting on Bermuda is where's the water flow? Put a little bit more room on that side. That's it. If you can figure that out, you can make putts.
And honestly, man, that's why I'm not afraid. Whoa.
Hey.
Honestly, that's why I'm not.
Glitch.
That's why I'm not afraid of. There it is. You know what's funny is I think that's legit the first time that I've caught my own headphone cable. But that's legit why I'm not super worried about some of these like less than great putters. Is this is a pretty easy surface, so I'll roll the dice. But Doug Gim, I'm super high on too. Before we get out of this, and I know you probably got at least one or two more since I think like all 9 of yours are in there. But I like Gim a lot. Approach game is stellar. He leads this field in driving accuracy. Combo those two things together, take it to the bank.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about Gim being able to go low though. That's kind of what I'm looking for in a tournament. Is I think Gim will be able to make the cut and fill the lineup and score points for you all 4 days. But for me, I was just going volatility. I was looking for that guy that's struggling that could just go super nuclear on 3 of the 4 days and win me at this tournament because I'm not looking for just above the pay line. So
Gary
I'm going to, no, not that volatile. No, I'm going to South Africa for my guy Brendan Grace. He's the kind of guy that like I said, in the last couple of years, you haven't heard much of him. But when you heard about him, it was because he shot a 61 somewhere. And that's Brandon Grace. Is like these kinds of tournaments are when you hear his name. And I'm all over the kind of guy that's just going to go crazy low one of these days and then just hold on for dear life because his 61 might be followed up by an 81. You just never know. And I'm okay with that because I want the guys. I mean, Brandon Grace still is a pretty consistent player. He makes 2/3 of his cuts, but it's because he goes super low and then bounces back with something not so savory. He still makes the cut. He's He's not always in contention. But when he does, he wins by 6 or 7 strokes. And you're like, well, Brandon Grace really put it together this weekend. That's what I want. I want that guy that just put it all together and scored low. And at this kind of tournament, that's what you need. You need lots and lots of birdies. You need eagles. Grace is a pretty long hitter. He's a pretty straight hitter. And so that's kind of where it's like you take the bad putting and approach game with it, but it's
putting's actually trending up too.
I like the sound of that.
You may have flipped me a little bit.
Is he hot?
He is hot. He's hot in the streets. He's lit.
The only other guy I had was Stanley Nah, and I flipped Justin Rose because he's trending the opposite direction. So I swapped Streelman in for Justin Rose because Rose he plays down to the course. I don't want a guy who's going to be like, oh, I'm playing at Sedgefield. I'll just do 68 4 straight days and be a T23. Like,
at the Wyndham.
I don't want the T23 at the Wyndham. I want the guy who's either going to miss the cut or be firing off birdies and eagles on Sunday.
Yeah, and do you get a vibe off him that he just does not give a shit? Like
he doesn't.
I don't know if it's the insurance commercials or what it is, but you watch him play and you're just like, dude, you do not care.
And he talks like he belongs at Sedgefield. He gets the members discount.
He's got to be a member there. There's no other possibility.
Yeah, why would he be there?
It's one of his endorsement
because
deals.
He wants to be. What if he just wants to be there? That's okay.
He's a top 10 player that hasn't. Like he's been resting on his Euro Tour laurels for like 2.5 years straight now, and so every once in a while he'll come to play, and you'll be like, "Oh, Justin Rose, he's a solid player," and then that's it, and you don't hear about him, and it's like, "Oh, what's he doing at the freaking Wyndham?" Like, he doesn't care. It's like I'm not playing him. He's another one of those, just like Louis, very recognizable name, major winner that everybody's going to play. Especially at the price of $8,000 flat for Justin Rose. I thank you for saving me and putting in the NorCal guy that I actually want to root for, Kevin Streelman.
Dude, I'm telling you, he's going to be good this week. I promise you.
All right, guys. So I think it's time to move on to our tier 3, which is everyone below 7K on DraftKings.
Isn't that guy
really nice, like pretty like blues, pinks and whites mixed with the green and the yellows on the course. What a graphic.
What a graphic.
All
Seriously,
right, guys.
We have the best graphics.
We do. Let's get into it. Let's hear it.
Okay, so Bo, I don't think has a whole lot down here, so I could probably just rattle off my 4 or 5 guys I like, and he can beat me up a little bit about them. But I do really like, for whatever reason, Matt Neesmith is popping a little bit for me over the last 24. I know that sounds weird. I thought it was weird too, but I went and looked at it a little bit. He actually does have some things to look at. Approach game's been solid. Again, the ranges we're looking at, pretty solid from there. He's actually a better driver of the golf ball than I thought he was. And his putting is right in the middle of the field, and we're on an easy putting surface. So I actually, at $6,600, I think he could do a lot worse. So weird one that popped for me, Chase Seifert, and I think this is a little bit of recency bias, but he did pop up. He had a couple of good performances over the last couple of tournaments, and he's actually been trending pretty well in approach and being in close proximity with his approach shots. So, and again, he's in the lower third for the field in putting. So $6,400, if you really want to stack top heavy, I think that this is a guy that can make the cut for you. I'm relatively confident that he'll make the cut. There's a lot of dead weight down at the bottom of this field. Like top 65 in ties, I do see a pretty strong chance that he gets through. Again, super volatile, but it's a guy that can play. And actually, if he does make the cut, can compete on the weekend. It's not a guy that hasn't won on tour before. So I think it's possible. I also looked at Russell Knox pretty heavily. He's actually really, really, really doing well in a lot of the stats for the approach and iron game. The place that really sinks him is his putting. His putting is horrible. He's actually about 130th in the field over the last 24 rounds. So looking at Russell Knox, though, everything else is in the top 15 or better. Like, this is a guy that if he just finds a couple of putts, man, I like Russell at $6,700. Sign me up. And then you know that I'm a sucker for James Hahn. James Hahn burns me all the time.
Come on, dude.
But
Come on, dude. Come on.
He's going to be Hahn fire. I'm telling you.
He's going to be Hahn the weekend taking a flight home.
It's going to be Hahn the first flight. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. The first Friday afternoon flight.
So straight up.
Hahn the waiting list for coach.
I had a joke and I'm going to leave it. But here's my thought with James Hahn. His stats aren't horrible. He actually can compete with these guys. Again, we're giving you some options down at the bottom if you want to stack top heavy. There is nobody at the bottom. So really you are grasping at straws. This is not a guy that I would tell you I'm certain is going to make the cut. But it's a guy that if he does make the cut and he's feeling good, he does compete. I mean, he's not a bad player when he's on at all. And quite honestly, he's a good driver of the golf ball. I mean, he's in the top 10 for that metric. He's really good from the approach distance we're looking at. And he's actually normally a very good putter, period. And is an even better putter on Bermuda. So I don't hate it at 6,700. Again, not my favorite play of the week by any means, but stats like him. And I kind of like where he sets up against the competition down at the bottom. That's it, man. Now you can.
Yeah. Ugh. Who is the first one? Because that was the only one that sounded okay.
Neesmith.
No, the one after that one. Neesmith sucks.
Chase Seifert? It can't be that. You must be thinking Russell Knox.
Yeah. I really don't like any of them. I'm just trying to find something that I can bank on.
Hey, one of us had to pick guys under 7K, man.
I didn't have to because I didn't spend up on guys that were going to be like 80% owned.
We're getting a head-to-head going this week. We'll put our lineups out on Twitter. Yep. We're going head-to-head.
You know that my head-to-head in football is like 88%. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's anywhere close to that in golf because I don't do head-to-heads in golf, but I'm definitely game. I want all the smoke.
We're in.
And I will bring the Twitter juice because that's kind of the fun part. Even if I lose, it's so much fun to get everybody fired up.
Yeah, we'll come up with some terms too. We'll put it out there.
Some new hashtags.
I'm going to call you out from my pool side. Yeah, I'm going to call you out from my pool side.
I'm just telling you. Get your tissues ready. You're going to be crying Sunday.
My tissues ready for a different reason.
Oh, spicy, Bo.
I mean, my lineup will it'll be that pretty. You'll need to. That's all. My lineup will be that pretty.
Send me $7.99 to refill my hemp's lotion. That's what you're gonna do.
All right, guys, let's get to some dart throws. What do you think?
Yeah, and I can. So, God,
Bo,
who's that dude up front?
He looks like a Pittsburgh Pirate with a blue hat.
Yeah, he's a Pittsburgh Puma.
Yeah, Puma.
Well, I am aware it is Rickie Fowler.
That's a good pick.
So Rickie, not necessarily so much as a dart throw as much as we're going on a lot of faith with him. Like he is starting to trend, but you still got a lot of holes in his game, and you're asking for kind of a lot to come together at 8.6. It is my only concern with Rickie and why he found his way down to dart throws for me. You can get a lot more, I don't want to say guaranteed return, but a little bit more assured return out of some other guys in that range. So Rickie for me is a big question mark. I definitely think he can come out and win this tournament, no doubt. But I also think that he could be Han the first flight home too on Saturday morning. So
he'll be on his way to Allison again.
On his way to his insurance commercial. And then Gary Woodland, actually, here's something kind of interesting with him that I was watching. He's actually getting everything kind of under control. And I think on a course that for Gary, he's not going to have to pull the driver and bomb it all over the place. If he can just keep that thing in the bag and hit a lot of 3-woods, which he was absolutely smoking, I think Gary could actually really just come out of nowhere and play he might be able to win. I mean, it's all about the strategy for Gary this week, and if he's going to try and find his game, then yeah, he'll be also on the first flight. But I do think I'm liking some of what I'm seeing from Gary. At 8.7, though, again, that's why he's a dart throw. He's a world-class player, but that's a lot to pay for him. Where you're maybe getting a top 5, maybe you're getting a trunk slam.
I just can't wait to give you my dart throws because you're going to laugh your ass off.
And then Aaron, you got here. I got one more, quick.
Go ahead. Aaron Baddeley. Are you going to say Aaron Baddeley?
No, I'm going to say Aaron Wise. Aaron Wise on All Bermuda, North Carolina course. I don't know what it is about Aaron Wise, but he tends to play better the closer you get to the coast. So maybe.
Yeah. So my first dart throw is Bubba Watson because I want a guy who's going to make some birdies, and I don't.
He's got your hemp lotion.
Yeah, he's going to do everything in his power to make birdies, whether it means triple bogeys and quadruple bogeys. But this is the kind of course where Bubba Watson can shape the ball extremely well. It's a shot maker's course, and Bubba Watson's a field player. He's a bomber, of course. He's great when he gets close enough to take advantage of his length. We've seen him go really low at these kinds of courses where there's not a lot of consequence to missing fairways because he's still 100 yards out on a longer par 4, or he's hitting a pitching wedge into a par 5. You get this guy close enough to the hole. It doesn't matter how bad he is at putting because he's going to start making birdies and eagles. And that's how you score points on DraftKings. You get birdie streaks and eagles make the most points. And that's the kind of guy I want, and his price is definitely good. I mean, $8,700 for Gary Woodland scares the daylights out of me. So
me too, man.
If I'm gonna spend up on a dart throw, I'm gonna throw some money at a guy who's actually won majors before, and that's Bubba. And of course, my other dart throw is paying homage to the name of the damn tournament. I'm gonna go with Wyndham Clark because his name's on the damn trophy.
And for all these reasons, I'm in.
6,600, and you get a guy whose name is already on the trophy. The engraver doesn't have to do anything.
Right?
He just says, "Here you go, Mr. Clark. Here's your Wyndham trophy."
That's gonna be a straight no for me. Yeah, put him in our head-to-head lineup. Let's see how that goes. And also,
thank you.
Gary Woodland did win the 2019 U.S. Open. I mean, so
good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Cheerio.
He didn't win 2 Masters though.
It wasn't at Sedgwick.
Sedgefield.
Whatever we are.
Kira Sedgwick was like one of those actresses on TNT. So
I think I was just trying to make something better out of it.
So to sum it up, you found the Zalatoris. I'm proud of you, and you're gonna go get lost in the woods with Gary Woodland. I love it.
And you're gonna be on the first flight Han with Wyndham Clark.
Yeah.
And the trophy because it's his trophy.
It's his trophy.
Which is nice because when he gets cut, they'll still give him his hourly rate to rake the traps and hand the trophy to who wins. So it'll be good.
It's a win-win for him, really.
He doesn't have to go home. He's already there.
Oh.
So my last one for the week, the random one for the week.
Is this the dart throw of the week?
This is my dart throw of the week.
The dart throw of the week, guys. Are we ready for the dart throw of the week?
It's all in the wrists.
Let's go.
Get the hemp lotion ready. So we're gonna roll out Mark Hubbard this week. So, yep. Look at that guy.
Oh my God, McLovin.
So I love this dude. This is a guy that like Happy Gilmore style putted a couple tournaments in a row, and like he just straight up look it up. He's got a name for it and everything. But check this out, dude can play a little bit.
Does he even have a sponsorship?
I think it's the same people that sponsored Tin Cup.
He bought that Titleist hat from the pro shop right there because his shirt is still the pro shop shirt that he showed up with a T-shirt and they said, "No, sir, here at Sedgefield we have a dress code."
So if he's got the Sedgefield logo on, we know what happened.
Yeah.
But no, for real, this is a dude that actually can be a pretty legit player. He had a couple of really good runs over the last 18 months. And right now, in the last 10 rounds, he's really actually been producing some good numbers. He's gained.
Searching for him.
You're gonna have to go pretty low down, but he's
down there with Bill Haas. Haas.
I haven't heard that. Jay Haas is who I'm thinking of. I think.
So
he's his son.
Wow, I'm old.
They all.
Bill Haas is Jay Haas' son.
They all work at the car wash together.
It's not even a nice one. They just work at the drive-through car wash, making sure that when the spinny brushes stop working, they can fix them.
Yeah, that's all it is. Just unjamming the brushes at the car wash. But for real, this guy actually is on a heater a little bit right now. He's got a 13th, a 20th, and a 16th in his last 5 starts. He is absolutely smoking the ball tee to green. His approach game is sick. He gained 5 strokes at the 3M. His putting, he hasn't lost strokes in his last 3 rounds. Like, the dude is trending like 41st, 20th, 16th. So I'm just saying, Hubbard has been known to go on runs, and he is actually looking pretty good. So
I can't find him. Did he already miss the cut?
No, he had to clock in for his dinner shift at the clubhouse.
Because he's I'm looking for him next to like Potter and
7K, man, 7K.
7K. Jeez, why is he so expensive?
Because he's good.
Kyle Stanley's 7K. He's good.
I'll take Hubbard over Stanley head to head.
Woo! Yeah, I'll make sure Stanley's in my head to head for that.
So yeah, that's what I got this week.
Guys, we have a question from our viewers. Who has the best chance of winning this week? Bo, let's start with you. Who do you have?
Best chance of winning, Brian Harman. He's just the most solid player in the field. He's the hottest player in the field, and I trust him more. He's a lefty like me, so I'm going to be completely biased and say that Brian Harman's going to win this tournament.
Connor?
I'm going to say it's either – I got to pick one, huh?
Yeah.
I'll stand behind what I said. I'll take Louis. I'll take Louis Oosthuizen.
All right.
So can I throw in one little flyer? I'm not going to play him, but if you're going to pull out Hubbard, who's like happy going, really, come on,
Kevin Kisner.
No, Kiz is kind of in now. Nick Watney, because he grew up in my area. He actually played golf every day at the same course that I play on weekends. His mom would drop him off at the golf course during the summer, and he would just play golf all day at the same course. And now he's on tour, and his caddy is my former collegiate teammate, JJ Jakovac at Chico State.
Oh,
so
very cool.
I mean, I might throw him in just one tournament lineup. Nick Watney, he's made 5 out of the last 24 cuts. He's really struggling to keep his card. But with hunger comes opportunity. And he has been good in the past, not in the recent past, but I mean, that local flavor for me, I really am rooting for Nick Watney to make this cut and make a run so that he can keep his tour card.
I'll pull for that. I'm with you.
Yeah,
Always good to see a good dude work it out.
Absolutely. Yep. So, guys, I think that kind of rounds out the show. I think we gave our golf picks. We talked about our whiskey and bourbon. We had a good time. We laughed. I didn't cry.
Sedgefield.
I cried.
Sedgefield.
Wyndham Clark.
If I'm being honest.
Honorable.
I mean, really, this show was just like straight up punny. It's pretty much where we went with it.
It's just going to get worse.
Just wait until
worst television you ever saw.
But the best at the same time. Would you rather watch our golf show or Perfect Strangers?
I don't even know what Perfect Strangers is, so it's a golf show.
Why does nobody know what Perfect Strangers is? We'll talk about
because they're
later.
still perfect strangers. That's the idea behind the show, is they are so stranger that they're perfect at being strangers. Like, I don't understand who they are.
That's the comment of the night.
That is. Thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody who's tuned in. We've been rolling this show through the entire PGA season.
He's been calling the whole time, but he never listens. What?
First time listener, long time caller.
He just calls us, so he doesn't even listen. He's like, "Oh, I call you every time."
And I want to say thank you to Video Gaming. Yes, it was the original TGI Friday on ABC with like different strokes, full house. Perfect Strangers was one of the original shows for that lineup, and it was ridiculous.
So I was born in the 80s, but I did catch the 90s version of Full House, so it ran for a long time. Perfect Strangers was slightly before my time.
It was like 2 or 3 years that it ran. But shout out to Video Gaming for knowing Perfect Strangers. Shout out to everybody who tuned in and has tuned in for this entire golf season. We cannot tell you how much we appreciate your viewership and tuning in and figuring all this out with us and using Connor's picks, because they're definitely not mine, and now Bo's picks, which are also definitely not mine.
Also definitely not mine.
Unless you won.
See.
We shall see.
I like how this terrible Wyndham tournament at Sedgefield is gonna like pit us against each other. We don't even care about the tournament that much. It's like the worst tournament on the whole slate, and we're gonna be Duke.
Let's go, dude! I might have to do a DraftKings lineup this week just to compete with you guys. Oh no, I'm using all your advice, so we'll see how it goes.
They just takes down the Millie Maker first time out.
Yes,
That's how it works.
This is your show now. I made $1 million. Have fun. Bye.
Yeah.
No, I'll still be.
That's like 800 million pesos.
Right? Dude, I'm like almost a billionaire in Mexico. Let's go.
Thanks everybody for listening to us. We'll catch you in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Till then, cheers everybody.
19th hole out.